Welcome to The Best Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Bradley H. Werrell, and we're here to explore options and potentials to help us grow as individuals and as a community with one another in these difficult times and challenging times. We're exploring all manner of potentials related to the human experience, physical, psychological, medical, spiritual. It's a wonderful opportunity that we now experience in this critical phase of our human evolution. And I welcome you to join us in our podcast, become more aware, and identify with people who are helpful and supportive of you in your efforts as a human being on this planet and elsewhere too. We're going to be meeting people who are doing things that are widely variant from what is so-called normal within our society, in the creative space, within the social space. Our common purpose, seeking to generate positive potentials to improve the lives of everyone in our sphere of influence, and to expand that sphere of influence so that we may positively influence others that are not yet engaged directly with us. That's the goal here. We will learn more about each other as we go. I wish you the very best. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, so let's just the review a little bit, like
where we are.
Because it's like this.
Yes.
My interest, the way I see this, is information transduction, okay? So you're in a circumstance, right, with certain expectations that are everybody brings to the table at any social circumstance, right? So you're there, you have an expectation, and then you're encountering some dissonance, or somebody's resonating at you in some frequency that is irritating to you in some fashion because it's inappropriate, or is that what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, it's so interesting how you, the metaphors you use are just not mine. But yeah, I think that's exactly right.
so alien, but so close.
Like you were almost there. No, I think that's exactly right. And for situations that you can't be prepared for, you're at the supermarket and then there's that person or whatever. Yes. So these are situations that are creating irritations for which you can't prepare. Like, it's not like, I know I have to go speak to my boss about a raise tomorrow. Okay, I can prep for that.
Right.
This is the unexpected, impromptu irritants. Yes.
Right. So this is good. And then you have expectations. I think we should kind of focus on the ranges of the dimensions that are associated with what we're talking about. I'm on page 10, by the way, which is empty. Is your page 10 empty?
No, because I recall last time you didn't bring your book to the table.
Oh my.
So on page 10, which is not empty, I have reactive styles.
Okay.
We started talking about hard and soft reactive styles.
It's on page 11.
No, on page 11, I have tools.
Okay.
And tools we had already had.
Notebook up.
Huh?
I'm catching my notebook up.
Tools was air gapping, internal mantra, feign ignorance. And then I have, what is the nature of the thing I am responding to?
There you go. What is the problem?
Mm-hmm. And your point about expectations gets to that also, because it is expectations in a social sense is expectations I have of myself, and it's expectations I have of the other person in the social sense.
That's right. That's right. So we'll write that in. It's not in tools though. So what's on page 12?
I don't have a page 12 yet.
Let's start page 12. Let's just talk about dimensions of experience, okay? Because I think it will condense some things.
Okay, tell me what you mean by dimensions of experience. What do you have in mind?
Okay. I'm going to have to write it first. Okay. So like this, my expectations, my social expectations in the context, right?
Mm-hmm.
the context itself is a dimension.
Okay.
Okay, and then so you go like this, because think about like we're having it's a polarized situation, right? It's a polarized situation. Who's the other pole, the antagonist, right? What is the nature of the antagonism?
Interesting, because what occurred to me when you were saying that, is there only one antagonist? Because, and this is what I'm saying, the dimensions offer their own problem.
Yes. So it's like the issue is you may have a group of people that are antagonizing you. So the antagonist or antagonists, right? And then what do I want to get? Right? What am I seeking to gain in this circumstance? That's a dimension, right? And that's an important one of them, because it's like, it might be this is, here's an exercise. There's your cat. There's my coffee. And everything is just so warm and fuzzy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Literally warm and fuzzy. Maybe a little bitey, but warm and fuzzy for sure.
Certainly sharp and edgy around the corners.
Yes. Yes.
So if you go like, so then what we're going to talk about, where do we have a page of exercises? No. Let's write 13 exercises.
No. We did. Remember we talked about, my last take 5. This is a
Wait, your brilliant
plug.
take 5
my
series?
plug for take 5.
Yes, shameless
like
plug.
to be on that shameless plug is remember we were talking about this issue of what did you call it? Agency.
Yes.
It was about agency. And part of that conversation I was having is that you are getting something out of the situation.
You might not like it.
Once you articulate it, you may not be super happy with it, but you are. So this gets to, what am I seeking to gain?
What's that?
It's kind of like, what am I seeking to gain? What am I getting out of this situation? So what am I seeking to gain? That might be, I am seeking to make myself feel like I'm a nice person.
Yes.
I feel like I just want to get the heck out of here. I'm seeking to gain
right. I want
time.
to escape.
Go away.
Right. Okay. So we're going to write page 13 exercises. Okay.
Oh, wait. Okay. Yes. I didn't write page 12. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Keep
All
up.
right. Sorry.
It's okay.
Page 13. Yes.
Okay. So exercises, like, let's look at this. It's like, this is very specific exercises for people to do. Like, so imagine the time that the thing happened. Okay.
Yes.
So we need to make like a written exercise, right? ... Imagine the time, and then we'll make a set of exercises, a set of descriptors about the dimensions of that event
that build over the course of pages. So this could be an exercise that we started here as we're talking about this, and then we get to another thing and it builds on that exercise.
That's right. You see, then you can do this thing where you're like, okay, now everybody move it one to the right. And now write what you think is a reasonable, given those circumstances, those dimensions, right? That's an asynchronous exercise that a group can perform.
And it's interesting too, because why I step back is, I do that Synergy. Synergy has a conflict coaching model, and this fits in with what they would say. So it would say that you have a trigger, you have this person that triggers you in some way. So it's important to know, what about it? Is it your value? Is it your need? Is it your identity? And it walks you through it. And so there's elements, I think, of that model that might be useful in this exercise.
Yes. So I want you to describe that a little bit more, because that's very good, and I want to make sure I capture it in my mind.
So there are multiple models for people to understand conflict. The one that I particularly like is called Synergy. And basically what this model does is...
Your microphone is getting too much. Yes, there you go. Try that.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's good luck with that.
Is
You
that
need a
better?
little. Yeah, it was taking puffs and turning them into just obtuse.
Oh, noise. Sorry about that.
I know, right here. Painful.
I was breathing. By the way, I did CrossFit this morning. Maybe I got to get that out. So
Noise.
synergy,
Yes.
synergy at its heart.
Huh.
This
You need one of these.
what is it?
One of these. Yeah, I have my microphone right there. It has this in front of it, so I can't.
Wait, whoa. Put that back down again. I'm gonna feel like so, and that just plugs into your computer.
Yes.
How come you haven't sent me that idea of it yet? You're supposed to be
I'm
keeping
sorry,
me up
Linda.
on the techno.
Wait, I'm
So
working on
I
it.
need
I'm
that.
working on it. I'm
Get
sending
that? That's page
you.
14.
Wait. No, I'm sending you to your email. Is silly.
Okay, I
It
will.
just send you
I
the thing.
will.
That will embarrass me.
I'm so 1980s. Sorry, get me
You're
into it.
a-okay. You're doing great.
All
I'm
right.
sorry to have interrupted you. That was rude.
No, it was important though.
A little bit.
So, synergy at its heart, it speaks about mutuality, meaning that it views conflict as you're interacting with this person, making up your own stories and your assumption, and they're doing the same thing.
Yes.
And everyone has their sense of expectations of what they think should be happening in this situation that you're screwing up with.
Wait. And they think they're doing it right, and they
Yes,
think you're
yes,
doing it wrong,
yes.
and everybody.
All at the same time, and then it just keeps building and building, and then you have this conflict. But it starts out, if I were coaching somebody with this model, they would start out with, describing the event, the thing that happened, describing the thing that happened,
Yes.
and listen and
Okay, but
listening.
that's why I say
Mhm.
we write down the dimensions of it.
Yes.
Okay, so like I was just trying to be nice and shopping in the store, and I just wanted to collect my things and pay my money and go in my car and go meet my dog and go home again, right? And then I ran into Stanley,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's like, okay, and then it's like make them give a picture of it, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's like because we
And
can
really,
only
we
speculate about what Stanley was thinking and doing, right?
right. And what I like about synergy, it never asks you to understand Stanley because you can't. You can't get in his
Right.
head. But I can make some assumptions of what he might be thinking from the perspective that it just gives me more knowledge. It's not trying to put anything on this other person,
Oh, so
but
we're like
what might,
we will create alternative interpretations.
well, what it does, I'm trying to broaden the amount of knowledge I have so I can choose what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not assuming any choice is fine. You can do whatever you want, but it's important to know all these things going out here. So I might ask as we go through the model again, okay, let's think about Stanley. Stanley was coming through,
Yes.
and
I
what
know.
do you
And here
think
comes the lady that did the thing
and what did you
in
do?
the
What
past,
might
right?
you have done that triggered Stanley?
That's right. Hang on a minute.
And what about it? Was it, did he need something? Was it a value? Was it a sense of identity? What? And so you go through it from his perspective,
Right,
just
right.
to say, because I'm trying to understand, like, maybe when I told him I'm really busy, turned away and did my hand thing, that could have been perceived by him, and then you get down to, so you go through that again, and then there's a role play again. After we go through this, the last part of the exercise is, okay, let's redo it. Now that you know all this stuff, Stanley pops up.
Okay, wait. I'm
What
saying
do you want to happen?
13511 accord.
Oh, no, don't buy it. I just meant to just send me the
Wait,
information.
wait. But you didn't understand because it's simply too late.
You're just amazing. The most
Okay.
generous, fabulous doctor and person really in the world. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
So we won't have any huffing on the puffing anymore.
You have to push it away a little bit more. So
Dang.
just
Okay, there.
let's try that.
But so we're going to walk through it. This exercise will take us through both perspectives, and then what do you want to have happen at the end? And but
wait. How do you see this? I was going to go there, which is like this is all pool, which is it's all in the leave, right? That's what you
Mm.
look. It's like this: knocking the pool ball into the pocket is not so hard, but it's all in the leave. Where does the cue ball go, and all the other balls? Where do they line me up for the next shot? So
Mm.
this is strategic thinking as opposed to winning at the moment.
Yes, yes, yes,
So we will
yes,
write that strategic outcome, which is the leave, right?
yes.
Okay, so I'm going to recap this page 13 for all the listeners, which they can keep their own little black book.
And if
Even
they have anything to share, that would be awesome, right? That would be lovely if they have some thoughts.
stop.
What do you
So
think?
hit like, subscribe below,
Yes.
and we should open this for comments.
Yes, I think that's a brilliant idea because everyone has been in this situation and they're like, oh shoot, I should have done this, or oh, you would not believe this person. You're yeah, that would be
Right.
really
This
helpful.
one was extraordinary that I want to share because it was such an unusual event. It's like,
It was such a great opportunity to grow.
oh
Yes.
my, oh
Yes.
my. It's not remind me of my day yesterday. Oh my.
Mm.
Wait, I better drink some coffee.
Yes.
Okay, so now I've just got this roughly drawn in, which is just in a very skeletal fashion. So we want the leave. What's the ultimate strategic outcome desired? Right?
Right.
For all parties. So that,
Well, wait a minute.
wait, no, this is good. Okay?
Why all parties?
Because it goes like this. Because it's like this. Okay, say you were imagining what Stanley's gonna do, right? And it's like, given the like optimum output, we're gonna create a solution for this problem, right? So we look at the situation or the circumstance as the situation, which is the problem. Then now we're going to try to create a solution to the problem and optimize the outcomes on all sides. Okay, so that Stanley leaves feeling emotionally satisfied, right?
Yes. I think the only quibble, here's a quibble. I'm always quibbling. The
Okay.
only quibbling is it leaves me emotionally satisfied because I'm in control of me. It could potentially leave
Yeah,
Stanley.
we're not promising any
Yes.
outcome for Stanley because he
But
needs
just
to,
me.
wait, but it makes me feel, it helps my emotionality to
Yes.
an
Yes.
opportunity for Stanley
Yes.
to not go away butthurt and to feel like he hasn't grown somehow because you're giving him the way forward that is emotionally satisfactory.
What if the possibility is, and that's lovely. That is super lovely. Kumbaya, rain stick. I love it. But what if I really don't want to leave the person? You know, what if what I really want
That's your
is
hard
mean?
answer.
Yeah, that's hard. What if, so one way may
Okay,
leave us all good.
okay.
Hmm.
We're not going to talk about that. That's in the range of options of strategic outcomes. That's certainly allowable.
But it goes on this page, doesn't it?
I know,
Isn't
but I
that
didn't. Let's
possible?
see. Wait. See, because I wrote it right here. You see, it says outcome desired for all parties.
Oh, because you were just describing it as sweet, but generally just saying it's okay.
I'll tell you, the
Okay.
emotional output is when I punch him in the nose, I expect him to fall down bleeding. What?
Or I'm pretty ticked. I got to work on my punch.
Oh, right? This is, oh my, it means more.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I made
Yes.
myself sound so good when I was making it nicety nice.
It did. It was super sweet. And like, that can't be, that's not
right.
Where?
That's
Wait a
not
minute,
you.
what?
What the hell? Don't lie to the people. They won't like it. It won't turn out well for you.
And that's
like
hard. That discussion though, of understanding what you really want, what is really going on, might be difficult for some people who have been taught to be super sweet. I can't like say my piece. I can't, and so yeah, all all my fellow agreeables, it might be difficult to think, you know what I really want? I really want to have the cutting wit that's going to just stop you in your tracks and like, and that's might be hard to accept.
In the agreeable sense, it will be, and I'll be smiling, and you won't be able to say anything about it. You can't disagree with what I have said because it was
Right.
what I call disagree with the
It was
agreeable.
so devastating. Yes.
It's just, oh my, you can't disagree, but you don't want to. Wait, that wasn't quite right. You cannot disagree, but you so want to.
Yes. And I can still smile and be all happy with myself.
And are we done yet? 'Cause I see you look done. The fork comes right out.
Right. That's right.
Okay, that's good. So this is a good. This page 13, it requires like fleshing out into just actual exercises, right?
So I have this group where I work of senior managers that wanted to get together for group coaching on conflict. And I am thinking once we lay out what this might look like, this could be a good group to practice this particular exercise on.
So let's think about that. Let's turn to page 14 and make a specific pattern, okay, for that purpose. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote specific pattern. Okay, so it's like this. The good thing is like, okay, let's talk about the conflict. Everybody's focused on a conflict. Okay, now it is what's the conflict? So define it, right? What dimensions are at work here, right?
And let's say in dimensions, that includes the context, the location, the people, where I am. I mean,
So it's like this.
that's all of that.
Wait, here's what we do. This is slicky boy work right here. You ready for this? We leave it kind of open, and then the people will define the dimensions, and then they will help us by fleshing it out, and it's open-ended and allows more information to flow into our coffers.
Yeah, that's
Does that
good.
make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
And then
Okay.
they flesh it out, and then they flesh out those dimensions,
That's
and
good.
then they pass it to the right. Right?
That's good.
I'm writing open-ended. So it's fill in the blanks, right? Okay, and then it's like, so we have a conflict, like, so we have a agonist and an antagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the protagonist, we'll call it the protagonist, which is the first person, that's me in the conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does the protagonist want, right?
Well, yeah, with this, we're going to have to get to want. So
wait, there's a protagonist and an antagonist, right? We're just
maybe
using
S.
them to describe them.
Mm-hmm.
And the dimensions associated with the description, right? So same thing, open dimensions up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the devil will be in the just,
I know, but it's like
No, I'm with you.
You're
Yeah,
curating it. You're going to curate
Yeah.
it. You're gonna what is it called? Prune the ones that just are okay. That was goofy. Steve in the corner. Steve, geez, really? We're pruning that nonsense out of this collection because that doesn't make sense what you just said. Okay, and it's okay, right? We won't talk about him to his face like that. Does that make sense?
No, this is good. This is still what the model will do. The synergy, this is still very much in line with it. So where I'm describing the situation, I'm describing the players of the situation, me
Right.
and one or who else.
Right. So there's dimensions on both of those.
Yes.
And the dimensions will be like, what are you trying to get out of this? What are you bringing into this? Do you have baggage? Do the other people have baggage? Is there a history here or is there no history here? Right. And I have to work with you for the next 10 years or the next 30 years, or just I'm passing you in a store, right? So how do we resolve this? We're seeking a resolution of the conflict, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's a desired, the protagonist, one of the things is the desired outcome of this conflict. Conflict may be too strong of a word, but situation, right?
I think there's two things being conflated here.
What's that?
I think we're getting to the same place, but the first there's a lot going on. So I need to know what's going on inside you, the dimensions of you, like in the conflict, what was about it, what was going on, da, 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 da. And then at some point, you're going to externalize what's on the, I'm now ticked. So, you've triggered me. This is what I'm thinking about. And now this is what it's going to look like. This is my external reaction to what you just did. And then there's consequences to my external reaction. And so,
it's all right now ideal, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Look, oh, it's like this. So we're creating it's a memory tool that we're utilizing, right?
Yes.
It's like, so you remember it.
Yes.
It's like, okay, so what did you desire was the outcome you desired?
If you had been in your right mind and you were able to think of that, I think that's right.
Ideally,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what really happened?
And what was then the consequence of what really happened?
Distinguish between those two like that. So the ideal, and then the actual, and then the consequences, or sequelae. That makes it sound smart. Anything that ends in AE, it sounds like Romanesque,
And I think what you need to do is there needs to be a calculus. There needs to be a little bit of calculus. So this is the sum of all these.
Oh, yes, of course. You have some Greek letters
yes,
with
smart.
Romanesque. See, any word that ends in SQUE also makes you sound very...
Yes.
Just saying.
And we also need to consider, if we're using this, you're speaking of the Greeks, is there may be a chorus. You've invoked the chorus too. So now, your sister ticks you off. And so now I'm going to get allies on my side.
Oh my.
So it is, are there people there or not? Am I playing to people or not?
Oh, this is very good, because Zachary was talking to me about this a little bit. And he's like having conflicts with the so-called critical race theorists.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you cannot talk to these people. You cannot reason with them. They're not interested in reason or logic. He says, you're playing to the audience. I think that's okay. And that is not an unreasonable outcome desired.
Yes. Okay. Let's make that sound less manipulative. Parents play to their children all the time. So if you're in a situation with your kid and this nasty person comes up, you might be thinking, I'm going to model behavior. I'm going to act in such a way to model the right behavior for my kid. So I do play to the audience. Parents do that all the time. We do that all the time. It sounds very manipulative when you say it that way, but we do that all the time.
So you just took the sting out of it. You didn't make it less manipulative. Thank you very much. What?
But it is what we do. I mean, that is...
We're in agreement. We're in agreement.
You just told me that you
made it sound so nice. It's like, it sounds so agreeable. Nobody could disagree with that. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with this. It's normal. This is just what you do. It's okay.
What? Okay, yes.
Don't act so surprised. Because we know you're just acting. We don't know who you're acting for. It's okay.
I do think that is an important point to draw out. And in Zachary's instance, it is with the purpose of swaying and educating the others that are listening.
Right. Now, I think this is good, because it's like, what I like about this page 14.
Yes.
The open-ended nature of the questions, okay, which allows the participant to freeform what they think is going on. Then everybody pass their papers to the right, and then is there something missing? Like, so there's, page 15. Page 15 has to be questions. Look, we're sending it for grading to the right, okay? So I'm writing grading to the right. Okay? Which is like, what questions do you have given this setup by the one to the left? Does that make sense?
Now wait, so questions to more thoroughly understand, more.
Yes, I don't understand what you're talking about here, and you left some things out that I think are important, right? Does that make sense? Because the game, see how I see this playing out is then it's going to be like this, then it goes back to the left. Okay, so you have this ebb, the papers move, start on the left, move to the right, questions are asked, move to the left, and resonate now with those questions and write responses, and then move to the left again. You get where I'm talking about? So you're just mixing it up.
In the context of group coaching, that concept would look like Dr. Worrell is the person describing this particular thing.
Yes.
And in the context, the other 5 people or whatever, the leader would invite questions, coaching type questions, to understand what was going on. So that would allow them to work on how to think more coachy and not more personal, and also what kind of questions they might be thinking of in their own situation. So the utility of that is then I get used to what kinds of questions I'm asking others that I can then ask of myself to more fully understand what's going on.
Right. So it's like you're resonating with another consciousness that's seeking to gain clarity and understanding in the circumstance, and they're providing you feedback that allows you to look more deeply, perhaps, into what exactly is going on or was going on in that remembered. I knew there was a word for that. English is so wonderful. Was in that remembered function. So then it's like, okay, then you answer the question that was asked, and you may disregard it. You go, this question makes no sense, or whatever it is, and then you send the whole thing to the left to a different respondent. Okay, so then it's like, okay, is it clear enough, or does it pass muster, or is there anything remaining that needs to be clarified to make it complete, right? You with me?
So, for example, what that might look like.
I should say this is I'm envisioning this as a so you're in a real world group situation. Okay, so I'm failing because I'm making it I'm envisioning it as a asynchronous textual response game. Okay,
So how would you do that though? We're talking about a book. Would this be on an online on an online seminar?
Online texty kind of thing. But that's okay. So that doesn't have to be that. That's a I'm writing that online texty. Okay.
And again, with the function of that particular part is to help people be able to understand in their own situations the kind of questions that they might be asking themselves as they're trying to determine how they want to handle these sorts of things.
Well, yeah, right. So what this allows to happen is that you are likely to expand your understanding of situations, the dimensions operating in situations, because the group is going to be supplementing your deficiencies, right? And so that allows you to go, oh, that's something I wasn't thinking about. Like this whole line of thought that's related to whatever aspect that my friend told me that I should consider, that I should describe. And now I'm thinking about it, and it gives me some ideas of how to describe it. And now I'm thinking about situations generally in a little bit of a different way because I've been exposed to this wider consciousness.
So going back to page 14.
Yes.
And thinking about it in the grading to the right concept we have on page 15.
Yes.
At what points, because I could see that you could do that at different points.
That's right. That's right.
So as I'm describing the protagonist, as I'm describing the dimensions, as I'm describing all that other, there might be particular useful points within that, like after
That's
a chunk.
Experimental, right?
Right.
Because it's like, we may find you, and it's I say empirically derived, right? Because you may find that it's better to do it all at once, or it's better to do just sections. It depends how much time people are willing to expend an effort to hone it. Because see, you can make it like a simple exercise. We complete the exercise and then we pass it to the right.
Yes. Right. Or
we can break it into chunks. And we can have a group discussion. Like you could have a group discussion about, well, let's talk about the protagonist and the antagonist in a general sense, right? I could see you're doing a teaching thing, which is like, let's talk about what we're going to, this exercise. And it's like, we're just going to talk about the conflict and dimensions in the conflict. And what do you think is important? All of us, like in the group, if you're in, because you're in the group setting, like what qualifies as an important dimension? And then let it bounce around in the room, right? In the social space. And then you write them all down, right? And then everybody thinks about it a little bit. And then, okay, now I want you to write a particular conflict you remember that you want to talk about, resonate with the group on that, and we'll see what we can come up with to help you refine your approach or provide additional considerations that you may not have incorporated at the moment that you were living it, but in retrospect, that we can supplement the experience by reflecting upon it and then generating other potentials that we didn't visualize at the time.
And I could see that being different for different media. So the workbook itself, or the book itself, I could see describing a particular, asking a question, describing, so there can be narrative that interjects within the exercise. If it's in the group setting, that might look differently. And if it's on the internet, online setting, that would also look differently. But okay, that makes sense.
That was good. So that you did a good job there. That was excellent. So I'm writing on the back of page 14 because I filled up page 14 already.
Darn.
Wait, you just do it wherever you do it. I like that. So in a book, so it's interjected narrative, right?
Right.
In a group, you have a discussion. And then in a online text, you have passed the book grading, right?
And the other thing, the internet's so awesome because if you can go into various side rooms. You can assign people to side rooms and they can be doing this conversation. So it can be little mini groups on the internet. There's a number of ways to handle that.
Right.
Now, after you describe this, and there's more to describe, but I'm thinking that, and then you're going to practice the response. And then, because I think a lot of the problem that people have with conflict is they read this, and it's going to be an amazing training and book naturally, but they read it and then you walk away and you don't implement it. So there needs to be that continued, and maybe that's part of the continued work we offer people. They can come back and they can practice out a conflict.
Right. So you could go like this okay, you create a group, right? And so you say, wait, this page 16. 16 is like you create a group. Okay, so create a group is the name of this page. Okay, which is a resource.
Yes.
For reflection upon conflicts that I face in my life that I can tap into whenever I feel the urge. Right? So if I'm having a conflict and I'm like, okay, so just look at it as a standing resource that you can dip into, like a well. I'm having a conflict. I'm going to dip into the well and help me resolve this conflict. And the group will show you ways or a way or something's going on there that they will help you resolve it. Does that make sense?
It does. That wasn't what I had in mind, but that is that is like it's better than a Dear Abby. But you're going to write in with my problem, and then my group that I know is going to give me some thoughts back. That's like one way.
It's like a live action Toastmasters for conflict resolution.
Yes, but the way you describe that is when I have one, I can dip into it.
Right.
And another way.
Anytime
sure,
I want.
Absolutely. Another way to think of this is a monthly on Thursdays, this group gets together at this
Absolutely.
time, and we're specifically going to go, you're going to bring a conflict and we're going to practice it.
So that is literal Toastmasters for conflict resolution, right?
Yes. So I could have a time.
So scheduled and unscheduled.
Yes.
So there's specific training and then there's personal resource, right?
Yes. Because that is where I
Good.
think all this training fails.
What's that mean? There's this.
It fails because
schedule?
it's not practical, and it doesn't, your muscles, you don't give your conflict
right.
muscles a chance to grow.
That's right. That's right. This is a very excellent thing because it requires growth, and it requires I'm sorry to say emotional irritation. It's irritating, all this work, but it's necessary, and it has painful nature to it, and it's okay. It's just the nature of it. It's not comfortable growing, I'm afraid. It's
But
okay.
then after you grow, you look awesome in your bikini. You're like, boo, look at me. I can handle any of these conflicts at the grocery store, whatever.
Nobody can stop you, right?
Exactly.
It's okay. That's right. That's right. So I like this page 16 because it's like these two options, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, okay. I like that. And I like this. I like what we have done today. This is excellent work. Do you think?
Yeah, I am going to be sending out a note to start up this conflict group. And as I work with my co-coach on that one, we'll work more on what that might look like. Because I think it's just a good avenue to test out some of these ideas.
I will reflect upon this with my computer man, John, about setting up a Discord for use in such purposes, if that will be beneficial. You know what I mean? I'll just reflect with him on it to see what he has to say.
Well, I'm excited to see what feedback we get from the folks that watch this after they have clicked subscribe and yes, down there. Yes. Bottom over.
And then leave comments.
Yes. Yeah. That would be super helpful.
Wait, get to say you like it.
Yes.
It's all very good. Let's just remind people. They just need a little reminder. It's all very good. I'm very pleased by this work, and it's like it's not very going fast, but it's like it's moving quickly. In fact, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to be very happy, particularly if we can have some practical test runs, because I think that'll help flesh it out.
I think your work at your employers will be useful in that regard.
It is a perspective,
and it's like yeah, we'll give you look. It's all experience, okay. So Kurt said this. He's like, the professors use their classes as the practice for their books.
Yeah,
Right.
That's probably right.
Also, this is just you doing the same thing. It's like just human experimentation. It's rather rude, but it's okay. Nobody hurt. It's okay. So that's very good. And you want to go over any other bits? I thought that was like what we did for 5-4.
That was really very helpful. I think that's good.
I think so.
And I got to visit with you, so that's
always a pleasure.
Always a
and you got a microphone out of the deal too.
Boom.
And I got to see the cat. That was nice.
Yes.
And I'm parking my little black book right here.
Good.
And it's like, but I have 2 stations that I work. So it's like, that's I get. It's all very good. All right. Well,
thank you.
You're ready for a nice day now?
Yes, you enjoy and keep the fires away.
Yeah, we would say keep the home fires burning, but let's not.
Not so much this time. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Best Medicine Podcast with Bradley H. Werrell, D.O. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below, either over there or over there. Also, if you're interested in a medical consultation with myself, there's also information below.